Hi there, thank you for joining me. Today I'm going to talk about how I occupy myself when I do a longer fast, like a 46-48 hour of fasting during this pandemic. That's basically like 2 full days of not eating. If you enjoy content like this, please share and subscribe and give it a thumbs up. Thank you so much. So I've actually been practicing intermittent fasting for about 2 years, just a little bit shorter than myself doing the ketogenic diet. But the two practice goes hand in hand really well. But just like ketogenic diet, I don't do intermittent fasting for weight loss. If there's any weight that comes off from it, I guess that's a side bonus. But I do these diet practices mainly for my health issues. So here are the challenges for me when I'm on a fasting. I have so much time. I have too much time on hand. Unlike most people that seem really busy and 24 hours not enough to get things done, I have so much time that I don't know what to do with sometimes. But during the pandemic, the difficult thing is that I'm home so much more. I have to find ways to occupy myself when I'm home more than I like to. And also, I don't get to go out to the stores that I like to maybe run errands or shop or just look around. Another thing that the pandemic took away from me is the spiritual. I'm a Christian, so like church meeting. Normally, if for these meetings, from getting ready and eat and get out, go there, and until the time I come back, it's already like maybe like 5 hours past. So it's a really good way to occupy a day of fasting. And also for being the Christian, my ministry I've talked about helps to occupy a whole lot of my time when we're going out preaching to people. So that's hours and hours during the week. Now all that is gone. I'm mostly just home, even though we still have meetings, we still have ministry, but it's all done at home through the computer or on the telephone. So I find these to be challenging. On top of that, my husband also during the pandemic is working from home. He is not practicing fasting whatsoever. In fact, he loves to snack all day. So I have to find ways to not be in his presence. And it's hard because we share the same office space. So now I kind of have to find other space in the house to do different things, or sometimes if he steps away from the office, then I can make use of it, like what I'm doing right now. So so these are some of the new challenges that rise up from the pandemic for me in terms of doing practicing my fasting. I have been brainstorming on like ways I can occupy myself so that I'm not, even while I'm home, I'm not thinking so much about food or eating or being tempted. So I've come up with 10 ways. Of course, there could be more, but 10 things that I find myself doing to distract myself from eating. So I actually really enjoy cooking. So now while I'm fasting, I have to restrain myself from cooking, obviously, because that's a lot of temptation. So when I feel like cooking, I'm trying to focus more on beverages. So like, what are the keto friendly or fasting friendly drinks I can make? So that's mainly, as we know, that's mainly coffee, tea, and maybe like apple cider vinegar. So what I'm doing is, if I'm making coffee, I'm trying to like maybe try to perfect my hot or cold brew coffee, and also take the time making it. Pour slowly. Time. Just like coffee. I also enjoy drinking tea, so you can have any kind of tea. So I would have matcha, I would have black tea, whatever tea. But I find that matcha is great because it actually takes a little effort to make it good, make it smooth so that it's not lumpy. So I would take the time making my matcha and drinking it, and try to be mindful of the beverages I'm consuming. And after a few hours, then maybe I go and make an apple cider vinegar. Like, say if the hunger start kicking in a little bit, apple cider vinegar is really good for suppressing appetite. So, again, I muck around in the kitchen. It gives me that feeling of cooking without actually cooking, and, making beneficial drinks for my fasting. The second thing I do to occupy myself is do more research, either online research or find books to read, buy the books or Kindle, whatever, specifically about health. So there's the mTOR. It's an inhibitor to, how do you say this? Autophagy? Autophagy.
What are you doing with my tie?
Oh,
Isn't that what
I'm researching. So doing health research serves as an immediate caution, or like a mental block to help me not to think about food, because I'm reading about health, I'm reading about fasting or ketones, or ketogenic diets, or different health things. So it's a constant reminder while I'm reading that I shouldn't be snacking or eating things that is not helpful to me. And reading takes a long time, and frankly for me, I feel like research itself is a rabbit hole. I can go on quite a few hours just reading and researching, so it's a really good way to kill time. The third thing I like to do to occupy myself is going into the natures. Like I said, I'm kind of wary, even as the economies go opening up and stores are opening. I'm still wary going into stores where people are. So when I do want to go out, I try to do a little research to see where there are less cases and has like a nice nature place where I can go to. And also because I don't work, so during the daytime I can go when there are less crowds during the daytime to go to these nature parks. And I do find that it's very relaxing, and also, visually, I'm looking at all these nature things. It really does help to take my mind away, take my eyes and my mind away from food, from eating. So, and once you make a trip, it's at least, a couple of hours or a few hours, depend on how long or where I go. So try to explore neighborhood, nature areas, or even a little bit further, like an hour away place. And while you're driving, you shouldn't be eating, or hopefully you're not. Or you can listen to podcasts to continue your research, or listen to Audible health books. These are really helpful if you have a long drive to your destination. The fourth item that I find is helpful is exercising. As we know, exercise is always good, but it is particularly good when you're fasting to do some exercise, because it helps to burn fat and it also helps to stimulate autophagy. But for me personally, I'm really not a person that enjoy exercising. 5, 6, 7, 8. Besides doing some exercise at home, workout, I would also go out for a walk, like speed walking. The fifth item I want to talk about is that during the pandemic, this is a really good time to call or write to somebody, maybe family or friends that you haven't talked to for a while. It's a good time to reconnect with people, to show your concern and care. Hi, is this Rachel? Hey, Rachel, it's me. I'm Droopy. How you doing? We were in the same class when we were second grade, remember? How you doing? Hello? Hello? Particularly, I find that handwriting a card or a letter, it really is unique and special these days. So I would say take some time, write a nice card or note to somebody that you really care. And not only this use up a good chunk of time if you give it thoughts and use nice words, it also helps to strengthen your relationship with your loved ones. The sixth item, how do you guys say? In Taiwan we say this is 6. The sixth item I have is time to cultivate some new hobby. These days there's the talk of mindfulness, even take a coloring book and just like really focus on like coloring. That can really make the time fly by. You might have some old hobby that you can try to perfect, or new hobby that you can pick up. For example, if you like painting, painting and drawing, these things take a long time. Before you know it, maybe it's mealtime already and you haven't even thought about cooking because you're trying to, create a piece of art. Not bad. You can be knitting and your goal is how much you want to finish for the day, and maybe before that's done your meal time is up already. So hobby really is a good way to take up a good chunk of time in a day. The seventh item is journaling. Any kind of journal. It can be a diary, it can be bullet journal, but giving yourself a dedicate some time every day to do journaling. I think it's a really helpful way to unwind and also think about, how the fasting is affecting you. It can be a health journal. But also it's a good time to reconnect with yourself emotionally. Write down what truly, deeply in your subconscious, what makes you happy, what can you be thankful of, what do you appreciate, or what makes you sad, what's your anxiety. Giving it a good thought and putting down your emotion in verbal words can really help to alleviate some of the anxiety. And if you think of it like almost like a homework where you want to write a nice piece of essay, that will take you some time, to eloquently express how you truly feel deep down. So that can be a really nice reflective self-improvement as well. Feelings, nothing but feelings. Number 8 is singing. I love to sing, but I live in this condo that the walls are paper thin. So singing out loud, karaoke style, might not be all that feasible while I'm in this house. Nonetheless, that doesn't mean I can't sing, because I can always, singing by myself in a lower volume. And also, if you're learning a new song, we're likely to sing in a low volume. So it's a good time to learn some new songs so that when the pandemic is over and I can have friends over, well, not have friends over, but I go over to friends' house to do karaoke, I can have some new songs to sing. Okay, Google, show me the lyrics for Twinkle Twinkle. You are above the world so high, the diamond in the sky. Now, some people would relate that to listening to music. I guess that's a good thing to do, but personally, I find listening to music, like purely sitting there listening to music, is very boring. I would feel like I need to listen to music and do something at the same time, and oftentimes if I'm not doing chores, it would be eating. So I find that singing, learning some new songs, it's a good way to kill the time but also occupy my mouth. The 9th item, I don't know, this is not so much occupying time, but kind of like a method. It's more relating to being in the presence of my husband working from home. So separating myself is really important because he snacks all day and we share the same office. So what I need to do is to find, other spaces, use other space in the house for my purpose. Oh, this is my new office. So this could be especially when he's eating. So like if during lunchtime he goes down to the kitchen, then maybe I should come upstairs and use the office. Or when he is in the office and munching away, maybe that's time for me to go use the living room, read my book, or practice singing. Following the last item, The 10th item I often do to try to occupy myself is doing chores, doing house chores. Do more laundry, be more careful with like stain removals, mop the floor, fold clothes, you name it, cleaning, vacuuming. So doing chores is a good way to occupy time for sure, and it's it's productive. Wow, finally. All my clothes are folded in Marie Kondo style. Wait a minute. I just refolded all my winter clothes. Darn it. Oh well. 2 more hours on summer clothes then. Fasting. I love organizing the house, particularly every year I try to purge some items that I don't use. I did read Marie Kondo, and I like her method. I like her books. So during the time when I do these organization and purging, it not only it takes a good chunk of time, it also, while I'm purging, it helps me to not eat, because I feel like it goes with not eating, like keeping my house clean and keeping my body clean at the same time. So these are the 10 ways that I'm trying to occupy my time while I'm doing a longer fast. So if you have any other ideas, please share in the comment down below. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.